Hi guys, Roxanne here from Tiny Home Living. I have a long list of things I need to get done today. We are rushing against the weather, of course. Still haven't got the bottom plastic done on that greenhouse, and I want to move stuff like the acorn squash in there to ripen in the sun. I'm going to go out shortly and check to see what the temperature is in there. I thought I put a thermometer in there yesterday, and I'm just curious to see what the temperature is. But I need Chris to come and help me because I want to check really quickly when I open the doors, and I can't do that anything quick right now with being on the crutches. So anyway, I'm going to check on that shortly, check on the temperature in the tiny house because we put a thermometer in there too. But before I get started today, I just want to ask you to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends. The little fruit flies are buzzing around my face while I'm trying to talk. Anyway, what I am going to start with today, though, is doing the video with Chris explaining all of the mechanical stuff from start to finish that he's put in the tiny house. Like I said before, I tend to use very technical terms like thingy, and some men out there will understand that language and those technical terms, but some might not. So this seems to be the subject that most people are asking about on different sites online, and of course, you know, it's pretty hard to go off-grid without any power or any heat, so that's what people are most interested in, to see if it'll fit their situation or their land or what they're trying to do. So we're going to do that today so I can get it loaded right away ahead of all the other footage that I have to get loaded on the channel. So I think that'll make some people really happy because that is pretty crucial stuff, and it's better, I think, if Chris explains it to you. So anyway, gonna do that shortly, but first I'm going to check on the temperatures, and then we'll get Chris to show you all the mechanical from start to finish. And then if you have any questions, you know, just ask in the comments. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, and we will do our best to answer any questions you have. And I'm going to try and figure out how to put the links for, you know, things like the wood stove and the Martin propane heater, the toilet, that sort of thing in the notes. So anyway, let's get started and see what we can get done today. I'm just going to get Chris to check really quickly on the thermometer in here to see what the temperature is at. It might actually be too hot in here. Whew.
Well,
it's like an oven.
Look at the temperature.
Oh my goodness. So it's like, oh boy, that's too hot in here. I think it's burning the peppers. They look droopy. So my extra layer of plastic is going to work for the winter, I think. Very happy about that. Now I just need to get those shoddy contractors back to finish.
This is the 100 amp panel I put in. I've got everything labeled here, so it's easy to pick out which one is tripped or whatever. There's the 100 amp breakers there. Everything's labeled, and lots of room here, so if a person ever wanted to, say, put another C can out that way, you basically just strip off the board here, then you got power access to go out into the other panel.
So if you know, a couple or a single person could live here, and if you get married, have a family, you can add on, and this could end up being an office instead of a bedroom, and then you could have another one go in there to bedrooms. So I think that works really good, having the electrical panel here. That's what the designer thought anyway. Nothing out of the ordinary under here, just the regular plumbing. And I like this cabinet. These are the IKEA shallow lower cabinets, shallow base cabinets. So, you know, I have quite a bit of room in here. This is a 21 inch, and I've got 30-inch drawers on both sides. So there's plenty of room in there for the plumbing. You don't need a great big 36-inch cabinet. You just lose drawer space, which is way better value than having a great big cabinet here with plumbing under it. Now this is an airhead composting toilet. I see it in so many buses, tiny houses, off-grid videos, and it is a really popular one and super easy to use. Now you have to make sure you put power behind the toilet. I did that in my tiny house too. Well, I made the contractor do it. But you need the power for the fan, and it vents out there, so that's very important. Normally there's never power in a normal house behind a toilet, in the toilet alcove or wherever you have the toilet. So very important to remember to put the power in there. So that's the airhead composting toilet, and then this is an Ecotemp propane instant hot water heater.
Okay, it's 140,000 BTUs. I basically ran the water lines up each side, hot going out, cold coming in. I had a gas fitter do this, but I believe he should have had a drop line here, because when he did the other one, he put a drop line here. If you get moisture or whatever, it'll drop down into there rather than go through the system. You have to have a valve, and it's easy to run. You want to change the temperature, the maximum temperature, you just up and down, power for off. This is a double wall stainless steel vent system, stainless steel thimble to go through, and then they supply a hood outside too. So it's complete. It was about $1,200.
Including the pipe kit that you needed.
So you just have to make sure you get the right fitting to tie into the gas line there. I tried to paint this last winter, but it was too cold, I guess. The condensation traveling from the outside pipe through, and the paint didn't stick well, so I have to redo it.
There's still painter's tape on underneath there.
Yeah. And a valve here too for the water lines.
Yeah.
If you get a leak or whatever, you can just turn it off. And
that was a big pet peeve in homes in Calgary. The builders are so cheap, they don't put shut-off valves under the sinks and everything, and they usually have one for the apartment or house in a closet somewhere, so that's not very well done. But terrible. I mean, they're saving a little bit of money, but terrible inconvenience if something bursts and you need to turn it off quickly. There's another example, of course, shut-offs for both the hot and cold under the bathroom sink as well. You simply don't want to do it without shut-offs. This is the Martin propane heater. This is a bigger one than what I have in my bedroom, and then Chris has a smaller one also in his 20-footer where the batteries and everything are. But this one you can actually see the flame when it's on. You have to have certain clearances from combustibles where you choose to put it.
6 inches on each side.
So you want to, when you think about that when you're doing your design, where it's going to go.
24 inches on the top.
Yeah.
It's 11,000 BTU output. Runs on propane. It's a direct vent. It has a shut-off valve, and there's the drop I was telling you about. Should have been put in the instant hot water heater. And this one I use flex copper and a sleeve to go through so it doesn't rub on the sea container. And then I spray foamed it. So that's the drop, and then I put a connector here that can basically take it apart. A union is what it's called.
And then we've got the carbon monoxide detector right beside it too. So we're really happy with this unit, and I think I might have a little bit bigger one going in my place because it's 2 sea cans. But yeah, really happy with these Martin heaters. We got them from Costco online here in Canada, but I'm not sure if that's possible in the US, but they're very, very popular heaters, so I don't think you'd have trouble finding them.
They come from Montreal or Quebec.
Yeah, in Canada they come from Quebec, but that's probably a distributor. The one good thing about this too is that you don't need any power to run it. That's really, really important. And wasn't really, I guess I should include the kitchen stove again. The one thing about the kitchen stove down there, it's a unique off-grid range, and you don't need electricity for the starters. I guess some do. So very, very important when you're planning things to look into that sort of detail. And this is the guard dog. Very, very critical to living off-grid out in the country where there's coyotes and cows. Little, deaf, old guard dog. This isn't really mechanical, but it's supplementary heat, and we can't live without a wood stove, and I just thought this thing was adorable. I put it on the kitchen counter. Someone asked me one time why I didn't put it on the floor. I can't even imagine, as an old woman, getting down on the floor to light this thing. They thought because the heat rose, but then you're going to pay a lot more for pipe too. It's just wonderful having it at the counter height, and of course it warms the kitchen and the living room, and you can see it from the living room. So, and Puppy likes it too. But yeah, I just love this little stove. I've shown it in other videos, one with me making perking coffee on it. But love it. It's the Cubic Mini Grizzly. There's a smaller one, but this one also comes with a box that you can put on top of it to cook with. So I'll try and remember to include the link for that. And the wires are covering it, but this is what we do with our phone wires and everything. You get the little tool set, and of course you have to have non-combustible material. I already had these black tiles, and I didn't like the way the black pipe looked against the white walls, so I put the black tiles there too, and it just makes it so nice to clean up, and I think it looks a lot nicer. But also it gets too hot to warm anything on top, so I did perk my coffee up there, but what I do, the glass tiles get so hot, if I want to warm muffins or croissants or anything, I put it on the glass tile under the stove, and it's like having a toaster oven. Toaster ovens use a huge amount of electrical power, so we only use that if we have enough power, like a beautiful sunny day like this. So anything with a heating element uses a tremendous amount of power. And I should mention that Chris actually wired, where is it? The pigtails are down there, and behind the bed down there, he wired in for 2 baseboard heaters. But baseboard heaters draw far too much power if you're on solar. If you're hooked up to the grid, fine, no problem. But the Martin propane heater, you can just turn it on low if you're away for the day or whatever, and you know, it'll keep the place from freezing up and everything. We thought the same would be for the baseboard heaters, but they're just not feasible if you're off grid and on solar. So no baseboard heaters. The power's there if anybody ever wanted to move it. The other thing too I forgot to mention, we actually plumbed this bathroom in for, I forgot to mention, that's why there's a little step here, and the floor doesn't match. We did plumb in the floor for a regular flushing toilet, so it didn't make sense to take it out or change it, so Chris just made a little plywood floor to go over top, added the flooring and the little ridge there, floor transition, and that way if anybody ever wanted to move it to a village, town, someplace where there's a septic system, or even if you wanted to put a septic system in, you could put a flushing toilet in. So at least you've got that option. There's no sense in taking it out once you've put it in. So we didn't do that with mine, but I'm looking at a different type of composting toilet. So this is the off-grid unique propane range. It's not the convection one. I have the convection one that's going in mine only because this one wasn't available. And the fridge I'm getting is stainless steel, and I had to get a stainless steel range to match. So I ended up with the convection one. I didn't really want it because most people know that when you have the fan in the back of the oven, you can't fit as big a cookie sheets and stuff in. This oven works just as well as my very expensive commercial range that I had in my bake shop, so I'm extremely pleased with this range. The other thing I'd like to mention is that these grates, I like the way they fit right together, so you can put a pot or something, this coffee percolator especially, you can put it there and it doesn't tip over. So I really like that, and mine actually has a space in the middle, so I'm really unhappy about that. Because I love the way this one is set up. So I think this one we bought, it was like $1,000. You can get the retro ones, they're in really funky colors and everything, but all in all, extremely happy with this oven. Can't say enough. But the main thing is you don't need electricity for the igniters for the top, and the oven is propane as well. It works absolutely awesome. And this little range, the hood vent, it's not that easy to find 24s, and they had a 24 in stock at Home Depot. It was like $60, absolute garbage. This one was like $220. So a big step up from what they had, and I've got a really nice stainless steel one too for mine that doesn't have the buttons on the front. I think they're underneath. So it's really streamlined looking, and again, I was really pleased to be able to find a 24-inch that was really nice looking in stainless steel. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than that. But 24-inch ranges are becoming a lot more popular with small apartments and condos and things like that. So really happy with this stove and the vent. I was going to mention, this one has some kind of goofy drawer underneath. This flips down, and I don't even understand what this setup down here is supposed to be about. I suppose I could do something wild and crazy like look at a manual. But anyway, mine actually has a drawer underneath it too, which I like better. So I can put my cast iron frying pan in there. Chris keeps his cast iron frying pan in the oven all the time.
Here.
Sorry, gotta get my
And this is this D battery to do the sparker. So you basically, and this is magnetic, so it just pops on.
Yeah, really, really, really happy with this stove. Can't say enough about it. So the other thing we put in is the Seagull water purifier, only because I had some left over from a business. So the water tested okay. No coliform, no different bacteria or anything, but we just feel better about using this for coffee and drinking and everything. So Chris has an awesome well, but we did put one of these in, and I'm going to put one in my kitchen too. See, I've got the little Martin propane heater in my bedroom, and so I just have the 30-pounder hooked up to it right now. I had a 100-pounder hooked up to it in the winter, and then we just got another one of these 250-pound fat boys delivered to run my bedroom heater this winter. And then Chris is going to use the 100-pounder for the Generac that's out back there. This is the smaller size Martin heater that I've also got in my bedroom, and it's off right now. It's only needed really in the coldest part of the winter to keep everything, the food and everything. We have a lot of food stored in here to keep that from freezing up.
The company put a 60 amp panel in. This is the power going to the tiny house, and there's my well pump and the wiring for in here. So the left side is the plugs and the lights, and the right side is plugs only. So basically no power being used here except the pump, and that goes down to here to the pressure switch, and this wire goes to it's a system that starts the pump up slowly. The pump is in the well, and if it started up quickly it would torque, so this sort of sends it power slowly, and then the wire goes down out to the well, to the pump. And this is the water coming in, and got a valve here just for hooking a hose on. Here's the pressure gauge, and then that's the water that goes, there's a shut off there, that's the water that goes to the tiny house. And I've also put a tap outside as far as the garden goes. It's a 33 gallon water tank, or water pressure tank. There's a bladder inside that slowly comes up, and then the pressure of the air pushes down against it, and that creates the pressure. These are Bronco 6-volt batteries. They have 8 of them, so that's 48 volts. This is the disconnect here. If you want to shut everything off, just push that little button. This is the auto generator starter. I'm still working on getting that hooked up.
That's for the Generac out back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the charge controller here, and this is the inverter. This is supposed to be a really good one, classic, and also the Magnum sign. So that's about it.
It's a pretty simple system, isn't it? And it's, what, 13 kilowatt? With the added
No,
panels?
it's the tiny house, they designed it to run on 1 kilowatt. But I got it 2 kilowatts, and then about a year later I got another one. So I can go up to 4 kilowatts on this system. So right now I have 3 kilowatts.
Okay. But the tiny house can run on 1?
Yeah, they designed it to run on 1 because of our LED lights, and that's about it. So
Okay.
that includes the well pump. So.
Yeah.
This extra wire here, I had the electrician leave it on because I might want to move the generator further away from the building. And this is all the wire for the auto start generator, this brown one. So I had him, rather than cut it and then have to splice it or buy a new one. And that's about it. This wire here goes to the little monitor in the tiny house. This is the ground wire. It comes out of here and goes down, and then it's grounded to the sea container plus the in the ground. So.
Just wanted to mention that these smaller heaters are the 8,000 BTU.
There's no window.
Yeah, no window in this one. It's the small one, like in my bedroom too.
It was about what was it? It was about $750, $800.
Yeah, Canadian. Now we walked into Home Depot one day. They don't usually keep appliances that you can buy in the store. They had this and the matching dryer, and it was a really good deal, and of course I wanted them both. But we called the solar guy. The electric dryer would not run off the solar system. They're very, very hard. So I had to get the girl to check to see. They only had like 3 dryers that came in gas, and then you still have to get the little orifice to switch this one from natural gas to propane. But that wasn't a big deal, a little tiny brass thing. And so this runs off the propane as well. The washer runs off the electricity. And again, absolutely no problem running this stuff. It's the biggest washing machine there is. So this old woman will not be using a bucket with a toilet plunger to do laundry. I can tell you that much for sure. So this generator is pretty much brand new because we had to take the other one back. I'll let Chris tell you why, because again, too technical for my poor little brain. But this is a tri-fuel. It runs on natural gas, propane, and gas. So that's the power output for the 3 different fuels. And that is the model number.
And here's basically off here, gas there, natural gas or propane, and there's a switch over here to switch from natural gas to propane.
Pretty nice generator.
It works really well. It's got lots of different plugs, 30 amps.
And now Chris has this to use when he's out here using the power tools and everything too, so it's really nice. It's still nice to have this to use for sure.
Back up to the back.
Big heavy whole thing, but just thought I'd show you. This is the outside vent for the Martin propane heater that's in my bedroom. So same thing with the 20 footer, and then the same thing with the one that's in Chris's. So that's what the vent looks like on the outside. It's getting a little windy now, so I hope you can hear me. Of course, there wasn't any wind yesterday. But this is the 10 kilowatt Generac that we got. Last year Chris was using the portable generator if we needed to boost batteries or anything like that. So, and there's the 100-pound tank that I was using for my bedroom last winter, but now it'll be back up for this, and this is back up for the tiny house. So.
This, as you can see, is a 10 kilowatt, so it's plenty to run my system. Here's the controls here, and auto. I presume you put that on auto when you want it to turn on from the auto start in the 20 footer. It's pretty easy to run, and then you can hook it up to Wi-Fi also. Here's the breakers here. So you just basically change the oil every so often, and then.
So it's going to be a big relief to not have, well, I didn't have to do it, but Chris had many 4 a.m. Trips outside. The power going out for us is really not a big deal. Like, we just don't care. Power's out, light a candle. We have lanterns, oil lanterns. The only thing that matters in the winter is the heat tape that is around the water coming into the tiny house, and that freezes up if the power goes out. So not a huge deal. In the winter now, we keep milk jugs. We clean them out and put the filtered water and unfiltered water in them, so we have that to wash dishes or whatever. So again, to us, because we don't have to go to work, or the kids don't have to go to school or anything like that, you don't have to worry about baths. We can just be dirty for a while. It's just not a big deal if the power goes out. The only problem is the water freezing up in the winter. So if this winter, if we did go away for the day or anything like that, you don't have to worry if the sun's not out, the solar panels aren't charging, and you don't have to worry about your heat tape going out. So that's one thing. Last winter also, we got April in Alberta. We got the chicks April 7th. You'll probably have seen that video. And Chris was having to get up in the middle of the night to start the generator to keep the heat lights going for the chicks. So again, that was crucial. But other than that, not a big deal for us. So there's 6 panels up there, and I guess there are 3 panels per kilowatt. And then Chris got a deal on these 3. I guess they had a scratch on them or something, and the customer rejected them. So people like us that like a deal, no problem. And Chris is actually going to move the ones from up on the roof down onto the ground here, and I think put all of them over there facing south. So that, again, that's a chore that will be done some other time, not really important right now. But so 3 panels per kilowatt, and we've got 3 kilowatts. Well, I hope this video was helpful. And like I said, I will try and remember to put the show notes in with the links to the different items that I've mentioned here, the wood stove and the heaters and that sort of thing. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends, and we'll see you next time.